Good morning, everybody. How is it going? I thought I'd do like a little, I would say mid-game week check-in, but I mean, all the matches are finished now apart from Spurs versus Chelsea, which is a pretty big game because there's still a few people with Chelsea defenders, maybe one or two with Werner, and probably quite a few with Son still. He's just high ownership regardless, right? He's still massively owned. I think at my rank he's like 60 or 70% owned. So obviously still a big game tonight, but a lot of the football's done. And also we've only got like 2 days until the next deadline as well. So I'm sure there's lots of questions and stuff we can start talking about. Mo Salah blanked. I'm sure there's a lot of people in a similar situation to me where you could have literally captained any other player in your team and you would have got a return. And Salah blanked against who did he blank against? Brighton. Which is not good. So yeah, there's lots to talk about. So get your questions. I'm just gonna my team's just on screen as a reference point really. I could have the chat up there for questions. So just let's get your questions in. Let's do 20, 30, 40 minutes, whatever, and get those questions done. That's the 2-seat defenders. Okay. What Chelsea players are worth bringing? Okay, well, I mean, this is a question that would be much easier to answer after tonight's match, right? But let's speculate a little bit. So I think the attackers would have to do something pretty special tonight for me to think about getting them in. Like, I'd love to take a punt on someone like Werner, but it gets to the point where you can't just have good underlying numbers or be having big chances. You have to put them away, and I just think it's too much. Like even Hudson-Odoi, who's looked really good, obviously he's so cheap, but we don't need cheap players right now, and so I don't know if I would go for him at the risk of if Reece James starts or something like that, a right wing back. I don't know if he's going to get his place back because Hudson-Odoi's been that good, but I think the Spurs game will kind of tell us where Tuchel is kind of thinking in terms of regulars. So Hudson-Odoi potentially a differential. Otherwise, Alonso would be great. If Alonso started against Spurs, that might tell me that perhaps he is ahead of Chilwell in the pecking order. Otherwise, the only one I'm considering, which is extremely boring, is Rudiger. 4.5 million, Chelsea defender with Newcastle, Sheffield United coming up. Like, I would be tempted to bench one of, this is my team for this coming week. If I brought in Rudiger for holding, I would be tempted to play him ahead of Stones and just go for one Man City defender and kind of try and just, split the risk a little bit because I'm Liverpool not looking great right now. Right, and Man City looking very good in defence, but I still think there's a good chance that Liverpool could score. Like, it's the kind of game where Liverpool will be right up for it. There's a lot riding on it. Liverpool cannot lose that game, so in some ways maybe it'll be cagey, but the win would be huge, right? If Liverpool lose this, you can't write the title off this early, obviously, apart from last year when you definitely could. But if Liverpool lose this, it'd be hard to see Man City coming back from it. So. I feel like I've gone off on a tangent there. No one's really asked about benching Man City players, but Rudiger's the one I'd be looking at from Chelsea personally because he's just so cheap, and Chelsea defence I still think is good. I always thought it was good anyway, and the fixtures are just so good as well. They will probably have a double game week. It's not going to be the easiest one, so I'm not really concerned about it for that. But Sheffield United away, Newcastle at home, Southampton away after. Spurs tonight, and Southampton haven't been scoring many goals recently. I think they scored 3 goals in their last 9 games or something like that. Yes, Danny Ings, I think he featured in like 5 or 6 of them, maybe even 7. I tweeted about it the other day, so they just haven't scored many goals. Obviously the last match was a bit of a freak result, but it is what it is. Can I talk about chip strategy? To be honest, chip strategy I think is quite difficult still to talk about. Next week it'll be much easier. What we think is going to happen is potentially Man City get a double game week in 24, then there'll be a big one in 26. The way everything is right now, without 100% knowing the fixtures, which we'll know by game week 24, by the way, so next week will be much easier to talk about once the FA Cup is done, is a lot of people have already got like a Spurs player, they've already got Aston Villa players, they've already got triple Man City. It's getting to the point now where I don't know if people are going to need to wildcard into a double game week team. if Kane is back, if De Bruyne is back, if Spurs are looking good, if if Liverpool are looking good, etc., then maybe it changes things. But right now, it's hard to know where the money goes and what transfers people would actually need to make on a wild card. So you could arguably save it until after the double, after the blank, and then use it from like game week 30 onwards. But until next week, I think it's too difficult to know. Like we've got an inclination that City, Villa, Spurs, for example, will have good double game weeks, but yeah, it's not guaranteed. But that's kind of what I'm building towards. I don't have a wild card, so it's a bit different. I'll probably just free hit in game week 29. But for a lot of people, you might be able to just not have to wild card before. So yeah, chip strategy is going to be easier next week. This week we probably don't need to. All I would say is it would be extremely handy if you could roll a transfer into next week. If you can roll a transfer this week, perfect. If you can't, then obviously there are more points up for grabs, so it's not the end of the world if you don't do that. But it would be good going into game week 24 with 2 free transfers. That's what I'm trying to do. I've got 2 free transfers this week. Don't really have anything to do, so I'm probably going to do Wood to a bench player or Holding to Rudiger, like I said. We'll see. Rank, I'm at like 500 and something rank. It's a green arrow, basically. Not quite as good as after the Man United game with Wan-Bissaka, which was absolutely insane. Obviously, Justin getting nearly the same amount of points did not help last night. Is the premium strategy gone now? I don't think it's gone. I mean, like if you look at my team, for example, I've been on cheap strikers most of the season anyway. It's only really Harry Kane that would make me change that. But I've still got Grealish, Son, Salah, Fernandes. Some might say that they're 4 bad picks. I mean, Fernandes just got 17 points, so probably not. But I don't think it's done. Like I still think Son is probably the best captain this week, regardless of what happens tonight. So I don't think it's gone, but there are lots of cheap alternatives, and you shouldn't worry about spending your money if you don't. If there's not a player you want to bring in instead, just save the money. It doesn't have to be spent at all. Like the only reason I've not got much in the bank is because my money is so spread because of the bench boost. Like if I downgraded De Gea and Wood, that'd get me like 3 million straight away. I'd be back to like 4 million in the bank. So it's crazy. We don't 100% know which teams will get a double game week yet, but it looks like City, Leeds, Villa, Spurs are all fairly likely and should have pretty good doubles, but there's no there's no guarantee yet. Next week we'll know for sure, or we should do anyway. Should we bring in Rashford considering West Brom coming soon? Yeah, I mean, I've talked about Rashford a lot in recent weeks, and it got hard. I kept saying like about the fixtures and it might be worth keeping him, and it did get harder and harder, I must admit. To the point where last week I was like, he's just not looking good, but the fixtures are still really good. So Everton, West Brom, Newcastle, I think that's decent for Rashford. It's hard to know what to make of that Southampton game though, or Man United in general, because the Southampton game was just so easy. I mean, it was good for Man United not to like let up and let them back in the game at all, but it was just too easy. And so I don't think Rashford is suddenly great because he scored against 10 men or 9 men, but it was 10 men, wasn't it, when he got his goals? But yeah, I still think he looks like a good option for the next few weeks. But again, maybe Rashford's in our thoughts just because we've got enough money left, right? If you've got the likes of Rafinha, for example, this week, he's probably as good an option against Crystal Palace. I do have Deadwood on the bench, yeah. I mean, to be honest, given the fact that everyone's got a massive bench, they're annoyed about their bench this week, I'm kind of happy with mine. But I don't mind. My bench is fine. So far, I've got Fulham next week. Happy to play him there. Holding got me 8 points last week. So, if anything, it's kind of perfect, like the way it's been played. I looked yesterday. I think I've played like 22 or 23 defenders defenders and goalkeepers since game week 18, and only 3 have got less than 6 points. So it's been absolutely mad, and the bench has been good. Bench has been absolutely good. Maddison or Gundogan out for Son. Yeah, I keep saying I'm not a big fan of of Maddison as an FPL option, and yet he hasn't blanked for 6 weeks now. 3 goals, then he blanked against Everton, then he got 3 assists in the next 2. So he's got 6 returns in 6. Wolves away, Liverpool at home, Villa away, Arsenal at home. Like for me, the thing about Gundogan is you're probably going to want him for the double game weeks if De Bruyne is not back. If you don't want to make a sideways move to anyone else, or if you don't want to get Sterling in or something like that. So for me, I would sell Maddison, but plenty of people wouldn't because he's got 6 returns in 6. So obviously, I'll leave that up to you. But if it had to be Gundogan or Maddison, then I personally would get rid of Maddison. Is Son essential for game week 23? Yeah, I don't want to use the word essential because obviously they did look really poor without Kane against Brighton. But Brighton, as we've seen, are a good defence, right? Their expected goals conceded all season have been really good, and now it's starting to translate into some defensive returns. So they weren't great, and I'm not really expecting anything from Son tonight either. And then he's got Man City in game week 24, so arguably he's not, over the long run, he is not essential at all. But for me, I just think that West Brom game makes him the best captain next week, even without Kane. Like, West Brom are that bad. There are some other good captains next week. Like, it's not that Son is the be-all and end-all. Like, Antonio against Fulham is good. I even think Bamford and Rafinha against Crystal Palace are pretty good. Just looking at some of the other fixtures, I think that is about it, though. Like, is Fernandes against Everton even a bad option? Probably not. So I think Fernandes, Antonio, or even Leeds players, if you wanted to go for that, are alternatives to Son. But for me, the way I've kind of been trying to play this season is always having the player I think is the best captain every week. And so if you think Son is the best captain this week, therefore that would, to me, would make him essential to your team. I'm not saying he's essential for everyone. If you think Son's a bad option because there's no Kane, then fair enough. But if you think Son is the best captain that week, to me, that makes him essential for that week. But he's not essential. Just saying. Holding my hands up before I got lynched for using the E word. How would you bring Kane in if he's available? Well, he's not going to be it's too late for... Sorry, he's probably not going to be available for West Brom. He's going to be available for the FA Cup or Man City, so it's not too much of a worry. I would have to sell Fernandes or Salah. Simple as that. I would have to make that decision, and I might do that for game week 26. If Spurs have got a much better double and Kane looks good again, like he's back to full fitness, then I might sell one of them. We'll see. I've sold big hitters a lot this season, and like if I think Kane is the best captain that week, then I will sell Salah or Fernandes to bring Kane in and just get them back when I want them back. Like, Fernandes plays Man City the week after the double, so it's maybe not as essential as he might have been usually, but of course a lot of people will own him, so there's a risk. There's always a risk with selling big hitters, right? We know that. We've known that for years, and nothing has changed this season. Is getting Salah out a priority, or is big team performances too good to ignore? Yeah, he's not looked great, has he? Like, let's be honest. Let's rephrase that. He hasn't been getting the points, but he had a couple of good chances against Brighton, just didn't go his way. Obviously, he scored twice against West Ham, and his underlying numbers have not been that bad all the way through. Obviously, he had that hot streak when he scored like 7 or 8 game weeks in a row. It was absolutely crazy, even coming off the bench against Palace, but it's not been good since then. I do think Jota out is probably affecting Liverpool as a whole. And Mane, I know people like Salah without Mane, but obviously Mane in makes Liverpool a stronger team, and it causes defences more of a problem. So I don't think Mane being out is particularly that good. I'm also not sure what to make of Thiago, right? We all know Thiago is a great player, but I just don't know if he fits in with that Liverpool team. Maybe that's just too much of a, looking for reasons why Liverpool just aren't performing right now. But he's just not the same type of midfielder that they've had over the last couple of seasons where they've been absolutely smashing it. But yeah, I'm just having a look in the Fantasy Football Scout members area. If you want to check that out, there is a link in the description below. But Salah over the last 6 game weeks. Now this is obviously going to include this week. So Son and Chelsea players have not yet played. But he's expected goal involvement was 3.44. So there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 players ahead of him, but most of them are all fairly close. And it's players like Gundogan, Sterling, Lacazette, Watkins, Mane, etc. So Salah's still pretty good. His expected goals non-penalty, he is like, there's only 6 players ahead of him. So there are players that have been performing better, but Salah is still getting the chances. It's still coming. And they have had fairly difficult fixtures, I guess. Ish. Like Man United, fair enough. Burnley, we all know what happened in that game. Plus, he didn't even start. Spurs, scoring 3 goals, getting nothing. There was that handball goal. Scores 2 versus West Ham. Brighton defence pretty good. it's not. I'm not trying to make excuses for him. I'm just trying to look at whether or not he's worth getting rid of. Man City is not a good fixture for anyone, so I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get anything. Then it's Leicester away, just conceded 3 to Leeds, although beat Fulham obviously with a clean sheet. Then Everton and Sheffield United, then Fulham. So the fixtures aren't bad for Salah. So I think the key point in your question is he a priority to get out? And only you can decide. Only you can decide that for your team. But like, if I look at my team, is Salah the priority? Like, not anywhere close for me. I mean, to be fair, I don't have too many issues, but there is double game weeks to come. So, for example, doing Wood to Brewster frees up some money. Doing Holding to Rudiger means I could bench a City player this week if I think Salah and co will score. So I think priority is stretching it a bit. I see some people doing that. So thinking of Salah to Son again. For me, the way I've been playing this season is you get the only time I've not had the player that I would have considered the best captain was Fernandes when he scored against West Brom. So that was a bit frustrating. But yeah, Salah to Son this week, I don't think it's a bad move. But you have to look at the long term. Like, how easily can you get Salah back? Do you want to use 2 transfers, taking him out and back in? It's not necessarily as easy as just, I'll just get him back. You know, it's 2 transfers. They're quite precious, especially at this time of the season. The fixtures in the next 3 are definitively bad for Salah. Yeah, I agree. I agree that Man City is bad. Leicester away. Leicester are a pretty good defence. I wouldn't say it's an easy game, that's for sure. But I think Leicester, so they conceded twice to Man City. They conceded 3 times to Liverpool in the reverse fixture. They beat Spurs. They conceded twice to Man United. To nil against Chelsea. So yeah, they've had some okay performances against the other kind of top 6 teams. So Leicester is not easy, I will say that. I think Man City is tough. Everton though, Everton at home. The only reason I would say Everton at home is difficult is because it's a derby. But I think in general, if you look at that fixture in isolation, it's not that bad. But I agree, the next 2 are fairly difficult, especially the Man City game. Salah isn't the best captain for 26 and 27. No, I agree. I won't be captaining Salah for a while now. I'm not captaining him this week. Game week 27, Liverpool against Fulham, Spurs versus Crystal Palace. I think Salah is a pretty good captain in game week 27. Man United are playing Man City. Your other options are your only other option, really, not only other option, but best other option is Spurs against Palace. So it's Kane and Son against Palace or Salah versus Fulham. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't say 27 is a write-off just yet. But yeah, 23, 24, 25, 26, probably not going to captain Salah at all. And so if I needed the money from him, I probably would take him out. I just think I've probably got other fires to put out right now. And I can't even go to Rashford, for example, so I've already got 3 Man United players. Any questions about which players for game week 26? Probably just no real point in discussing them right now because we don't know for sure who's playing. Game week 27 will be a City double. Yeah, fair enough. If it's a double, if that happens, then sure, we all go Man City. But either way, I think Salah could be an option if it's just single game weeks. West Ham punt for the next 2. Am I insane looking at Lingard for Gundogan? The thing is, again, Gundogan could potentially have a double in 24, in which case you'd want him back. Yeah, Lingard was good last night. He was good. I do think his goals were well taken, but especially for the second one, Martinez should have done better. But he did play well. West Ham's fixtures are really good, so I guess he does. I guess he does fit the punt, the actual punt definition, Lingard. So you could go for him. I mean, the question is though, is he better than Souček? I'm not sure if he is. He's differential, but yeah, I don't know. The second goal in particular was poor goalkeeping. So yeah, he played well, but in terms of from an FPL point of view, I'm still not sure. I think if I had Souček, I would just play him instead, right? Will I hop on De Bruyne as soon as he's fit? I guess it depends on which game week he comes back, but if he was back for like game week 25 and then fit for game week 26, that would be interesting. I would like to get De Bruyne back because I think people will be slow to get him back, so he would become a bit of a differential. So it depends. I mean, if he was back for game week 26 and we hadn't seen him play, would I be 100% confident he would start twice? I mean, they're doing fine without him, aren't they? They're still getting the wins. It's not lucky at all. I don't know what that's about. Souček, yeah, Souček always looks good. Dennis, how has Souček got so many points? I fully understand before anyone tells me he's not a defensive midfielder. I've understood that since pre-season, right? And to be fair, when he was priced, we knew he was going to be a bit of a ridiculous price. But the amount of points he scored now is bordering on craziness, absolute craziness. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think I'd be getting him out right now. Will you be getting Jota in when he's back? Again, potentially, it's going to depend exactly when he's back. Just because he's back in training doesn't mean he's going to be back anytime soon. I think we're kind of, at this stage of any season, we always get pigeonholed into double game weeks and blank planning. So sometimes players like that just fall through the cracks. So we'll see. We'll see when he comes back. Your league cup, yeah, my cup run does depend on Son tonight. I need Son to get a return, otherwise I'm out of the cup. That would be a nightmare, wouldn't it? Keep eyes on Eze. I gotta be honest. I think he moved to number 10, didn't he, recently? I gotta be honest. I'm not interested in Eze at all. I think if I was going for a player for Palace, it would be Zaha, and that's it. But I think he came off injured, didn't he? So we're gonna have to wait and see what the prognosis is there. And if he is injured, I don't think that makes Eze better. I think that just makes the whole team worse. So yeah, Eze, I'm just no interest in, to be honest. Bringing Grealish for Sterling, considering the fixture term for City. You're going to want City players. I think City players is just getting rid of City players is just such a luxury. I know they're playing Liverpool, but you will want them over the next few weeks. So I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but you should definitely strongly consider the fact that you'll want them back very soon, and therefore using 2 free transfers possibly not worth it. I think come the end of the season, Pepe and Aubameyang will be options. Possibly, yeah. Pepe's looked quite good, to be fair. I think Arsenal in general are looking better now, aren't they? So, yeah, when the fixtures get a bit better, potentially. What about Luca Dean? I think, look, people brought Dean in for Newcastle Leeds. It's okay. He got an assist last night. The problem with Everton is they're just not confident in clean sheets. So, if they don't double, I think you've missed the Luca Dean bandwagon in my eyes. Like, Man United is not a good fixture. Liverpool in 25 is not a good fixture. Fulham in between. Fixtures after game week 27 are really good, by the way, for Everton. So Burnley, West Brom, Palace, Brighton. So that could be a good time to jump on. But I think for Luca Dean, you've missed the boat now. If they double in 24, then maybe that changes and we look to bring him in. But yeah, if it's just single game weeks now, I think missed the boat potentially on him. Like, he is attacking, but I just don't trust their defence. Like, Leeds should have scored more last night. Should I keep Zaha or get Rashford? I mean, wait and see what Hodgson says about Zaha first. I mean, you must have brought him in for the good fixtures, so if he's fit, you could just keep him, but I think Rashford's a better option over the next 3. That's all I'll say. Thoughts on Sanchez and Gar? I think he's much better than Ryan, at least so far this season. That's not to have a dig at Ryan for what he's done over the last few seasons, but this season he was poor. Sanchez has been good, and I think that's one of the reasons that Brighton's defensive underlying numbers are translating into proper points now. Leeds can't have a double. They can. So we'll wait and see. It depends on a lot. Like, they could play their Southampton game that week, but again, none of this is guaranteed. It's all speculation right now. Sell Rashford and get Grealish. I don't think now is the time to be selling Rashford, to be honest. Like, he's got 3 really good fixtures. I love Grealish, but the fixtures for Grealish are like, he can get returns in any game. Like, even last night, I thought he didn't really get too many chances. West Ham defended against him really well, but he still came out with an assist. He's got Arsenal, Brighton, Leicester next 3. They're not the greatest fixtures, to be completely honest. Rashford's fixture's much better, so I wouldn't make the swap if it was me. Captain selection next few weeks. Everyone seems quite templated. Yeah, but it's always happened. People worry about the template too much. You worry about the template too much. Just pick the captain you think is going to score the most. Yes, sometimes there's a good opportunity to bet against the template. But if you're just doing it for the sake of it, like, oh, I hope he scores more, then that's probably not a good reason to captain someone. If you think he's got a genuine chance to score more and he's differential, then perfect. But I don't know. I find it hard to like worry about the template when it's just been Green Arrow central the last few weeks. Like my template rating on live FPL is 83%. Yeah, I got a Green Arrow last week. I'm getting a Green Arrow this week so far. I've got Son left, so hopefully I would still have a Green Arrow by the end of it. I guess if Chelsea win to 0 and Chilwell and James score goals, then it might not be the case. But yeah, I don't know. It just feels like we're a bit in limbo right now, waiting for the doubles. There's not a huge amount of like this week could be a good chance to go against the template captain. Like Son will. It doesn't matter what Son does tonight. Son will be 100% effective ownership. Mostly because he's so well owned already, and then he's got West Brom as well. So I don't think, unless he gets injured tonight, I don't think it's going to put too many people off. So he is going to do the most. If you want to bet against him, you could go for someone like Antonio, right? That could be a nice template breaker. Wouldn't you worry about starting Wan-Bissaka? A little bit, yeah. A little bit. It was more about doubling on United defence than specifically starting Wan-Bissaka. What do you attribute your good performance this year to? A bit of luck, I guess. A bit of luck along the way. I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't want to sit here like halfway through a season and say I did all these things and this is what I'm doing so well. Because in the second half of the season, I could have a nightmare and finish outside the top 100k, and maybe the things I've been doing don't keep working. I guess there's a few core things. One is I've really made hardly any defender. I mean, I've made 4 defender transfers in 22 weeks. I might make another one this week. Outside of wildcards, I've only made 4, which seems quite low. And I've just trusted the bench. But at the same time, I've also been a bit lucky, right? Dallas scoring 18-yard goals against Man United when they've conceded 5 or 6, was it? Is obviously a stroke of luck. Wan-Bissaka scoring a goal and an assist, and Southampton being down to 9 men is a bit of luck. But yeah, one of my key things is always having the player that I consider is the best captain, like making sure they're in my team, regardless of template. I don't care about ownership. I've not looked at ownership at all this season. Like, I can tell you right now who in my team is highly owned. Pretty much all of them, to be honest, apart from the Man United players, apart from the Man United defenders. So yeah, I'm not really worried about that. And also, I haven't really taken form into, like, most people when they say form they just mean who's scored recently, and I haven't really worried about that at all. It's more just like long-term underlying numbers. So yeah, like this week, Son captain, doesn't matter what he does against Chelsea, I'm captaining him. His numbers have been good all season, and West Brom have been awful all season, so it doesn't matter what form he's in. The fact he's not scored in 7, or he's only scored once in 7 games, it just doesn't matter to me. So yeah, there's a few things. You can finish in the top 100 if you play aggressively. I don't think I need to play aggressively though. What I don't like, just to give you an idea. I mean, my Green Arrow was massive after the Man United game. Like, it's only really because everyone else has performed, like Justin and co, that it's come down a bit. But so right now I'm 679. Sorry, I was 679. Now I'm 511, and I'm only 23 points behind top 100. 23 points in like what 17 game weeks left or whatever it is. 16. It's nothing really. There's no need to play aggressive. Just keep playing my game and worrying about it from there. If it goes wrong, so be it. But I guess if I'm playing a certain way, I might as well see it out to the end of the season, right? I think looking at differentials for the sake of it is not something I would do until the last few weeks. It all depends how the rank goes. Look, I don't have a wild card, and there's double game week coming, then there's a blank. If I get through that and do really badly, then maybe we change things up. Yeah, just a quick one. Spamming doesn't get your question answered. It just gets you blocked. Just a heads up for everyone that's spamming the same question over and over. Dan Burn from Brighton 4.2. I mean, yeah, he's cheap, but is he the best option? Is he the best option from there? So let me have a quick look. Let's have a look quickly at defenders for Brighton. I'm just going to look for the season. No, actually, I'm going to look last 6 weeks. So last 6 game weeks, Brighton, where are you at? I think Webster is usually getting more chances. Let me see. Ben White, of course. So in the last 6 game weeks, I mean, the 3 nailed on ones, obviously, White, Webster, Dunk. Sorry, they're the 3 that have played like every single minute pretty much. And shots inside the box. Dunk's had 5. Dunk, back to him. How much is he? He's 5. He's 4.8. He's down to 4.8. Yeah, and then Webster just behind with 4. But Webster's also pretty good for clearance blocks and interceptions, which will help him on bonus. So Webster could be the one to go for. Burn might be okay, but I wouldn't worry about the price when the others are so cheap and there's so much money to go around. So if you want a Brighton defender, there's worse calls you can make, that's for sure. In fact, what's their next fixture? I wonder if they're better than Rudiger. Let me have a look. I imagine bringing in Dunk, getting a goal, be amazing. Yeah, Burnley, then Villa, then Palace, then West Brom. I mean, their fixtures are pretty damn good. Villa is tough, but Burnley and Crystal Palace in the next 3. Arguably, that is better than... Well, not maybe better than Rudiger, but you could put him up there alongside Rudiger. Maybe that'll be my next fixture. Transfer. Dunk. Dunk. Are you surprised there's not a bit more hype about Dallas? Comparing him to Lundstrom, yeah, possibly. I think the thing with Lundstrom is you got attacking returns and he also got clean sheets. Where Dallas, you get attacking returns, but you're never expecting to get a clean sheet. I tweeted that the other day before he scored his goal against Leicester. I said Dallas is great because even when he doesn't get his clean sheet, which he never does, he's got potential for attacking returns. So I do like him. 4.8 million. He's done really well this year. But I think Lundstrom had like the best of both worlds. You knew probably good for clean sheets, but also, like I said, we got the attacking returns as well. I've hyped him up quite a lot, as you'll know if you follow me on Twitter. Okay, let's see. We'll do a few more. I don't want to do bench questions here. All the time these days, it's just bench. Who should I bench? Who should I bench? I would bench your worst players. I would bench the players that are not going to score the most points. Thoughts on Souček captain? I mean, that is completely out the box thinking. How many more weeks can I keep betting against Souček? That's the question. I think there's much better captains. Let's just say that. If you want to go for it, absolutely should go for it. Bringing United defender in for Stones. In terms of playing them, I mean, the thing is, if I play Wan-Bissaka, it means I've got double Man United defence. I'm not sure about that. I would just, if I had City defenders, I would keep them. It just feels like such an easy hold. Triple captain Dunk, no way. Marcus Alonso, let's see if he plays against Spurs. If he doesn't and it's Chilwell, then I won't worry about it. I am still in the cup, yeah, but I need Son to get a return, an assist or a goal, otherwise I am out. Luke Shaw captain. Let's not get into that again. Okay. Can I do a whole video on Luke Shaw? Wow. I'm not sure he's that interesting, is he? Why 2 City defenders? Because, I mean, they are the best defence in the league by far. Like, by a mile as well this season. Okay, I think basically we're going around in circles a little bit now about the questions. I think we've already kind of gone through quite a lot. Let's see what happens tonight in terms of Son and stuff. But I think Son will be my captain next week regardless. We'll have Scoutcast later tonight anyway, which will go into a bit more depth on this. So Seb and Joe are joined by Karam. So make sure you check that out. That'll be at 8 o'clock. If you're not already, by the way, go and follow us on Instagram. Loads of great content going out there. There's a link to that in the description below. Yeah, Twitter links there, members area links too if you want to check out the members area, get all the latest stats and stuff like that. So they're updated as soon as the match is finished as well. So there's all the stats so far from this game. You can obviously they'll be updated again when Spurs play. So check out all the links in the description below. Please do give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Hit subscribe if you're new around here. Check out Scoutcast tonight, team selection tomorrow, team news tomorrow, Breakfast Club on Saturday. Loads of content to come. So hit that notification bell, and I will catch you soon.